Over the course of 53 years practicing medicine, I witnessed 4,000 patients take their final breath. I signed every single death certificate. I sat beside them in their last moments. I delivered the devastating news to their families, and I'm about to reveal something most of those individuals shared in common. They didn't need to die when they did, not because of their genes. Not due to unfortunate circumstances, because of their choices. Specific patterns I first documented back in 1972, destructive behaviors I cautioned patients about for decades. The majority refused to listen. Now the majority are deceased. I'm 102 years old. I'm not sharing this for your pity or your admiration. I'm sharing this because I've spent more time observing death than virtually anyone living today. And I understand precisely what distinguishes those who reached 90 from those who collapsed at 68. You're likely engaging in at least two of these behaviors right now, today, this very morning, completely unaware they're stealing years from your lifespan. Deadly habit number 1. The sitting epidemic. The first lesson from 53 years of medical practice: prolonged sitting will kill you faster than nearly any other daily activity. This isn't hyperbole. I observed it unfold repeatedly, patient after patient. In 1981, I began maintaining separate records on patients whose jobs required sitting versus those who remained mobile throughout the day. Accountants, administrative assistants, corporate executives. They aged through completely different trajectories. Their blood work told different stories. Their hearts gave out sooner. By 1990, I possessed sufficient evidence to confirm that individuals sitting 8 to 9 hours daily were experiencing internal aging approximately 40% faster than those who maintained movement throughout their day. Medical research eventually validated this, but I witnessed it firsthand in the deteriorating bodies of my patients. Here's the physiological reality. When you sit, your circulation decelerates. Blood accumulates in your lower extremities. Your lymphatic system, which requires physical movement to operate, becomes stagnant. Toxins build up. Your muscle tissue begins breaking down within mere days of reduced activity. After 60, this degenerative process accelerates exponentially because your body has lost the regenerative capacity it possessed at 40. I treated a patient, a retired judge, who exercised every single morning for 45 minutes without fail. He believed he was protected, but he spent 10 to 11 hours afterwards sitting while reading and watching television. He died at 71 from a stroke. His morning workouts couldn't compensate for his afternoon immobility. The remedy isn't complex. Move every single hour. Stand up, walk to a different room. Engage in any activity requiring your legs. I've practiced this since 1974. I set a timer. Every 50 minutes, I rise. I'm 102 years old, and I still maintain this discipline. Deadly habit number 2, sleep deprivation and disruption. The second pattern I identified involved sleep, not merely obtaining adequate sleep, but achieving the correct type of restorative rest. I cannot count how many patients boasted about only needing 5 or 6 hours. They declared this with pride, as if sleep deprivation signified toughness. It signified delusion. Your brain demands 7 to 9 hours to complete essential repair cycles. During deep sleep stages, your lymphatic system eliminates metabolic waste, including protein accumulations linked to cognitive deterioration. When you consistently deprive yourself of sleep, you're permitting these neurotoxins to accumulate night after night after night. I watched patients with poor sleep patterns develop memory impairment a full decade earlier than those who slept properly. The correlation proved so consistent, I could nearly predict who would experience cognitive decline based solely on their sleep habits during their 60s. And here's something research is only recently confirming. Fragmented sleep damages you more than insufficient sleep. Waking 4 or 5 times nightly, even momentarily, prevents you from reaching the deep restorative stages. Many patients didn't even realize they were waking Their spouses knew, but they remained oblivious. If you wake exhausted after 8 hours in bed, something requires intervention. Deadly habit number 3, social isolation. The third factor killing people after 60 is loneliness. I understand this sounds like psychological soft science. It absolutely is not. Loneliness activates a chronic stress response throughout your entire body. Your cortisol levels remain persistently elevated. Your immune function decreases. Your inflammatory markers spike. I had patients who were otherwise physically healthy, but existed alone without meaningful human connections. They deteriorated faster than patients suffering serious chronic diseases who maintained strong social relationships. The scientific data on this is now overwhelming, but I observed it clinically for decades before the research caught up. Humans are not biologically designed for isolation. After 60, when you experience spousal loss or watch friends pass away, isolation risk increases dramatically. You must actively combat it. Join an organization. Contact someone regularly. Don't permit weeks to pass without genuine human conversation. Deadly habit for 4, carbohydrate overload. The fourth pattern involves nutrition, and this one infuriates me because my profession dispensed incorrect advice for 40 consecutive years. We instructed people to consume low-fat diets. We told them whole grains promoted health. We told them orange juice benefited them. We created an entire generation of seniors consuming toast, jam, and cereal, then expressing confusion about their uncontrolled blood sugar. After 60, your metabolism fundamentally transforms. Your insulin sensitivity declines. Your carbohydrate processing capacity diminishes. Foods that were perfectly acceptable at 40 become inflammatory triggers at 70. I modified my own eating patterns at 65 when I started recognizing these patterns in my patient data. I eliminated most processed carbohydrates. I increased healthy fat consumption. I prioritized vegetables and protein. My inflammatory markers dropped within 3 months. I recommended identical changes to patients willing to listen. Most refused. They trusted the outdated conventional wisdom. Many of them are now deceased. Deadly habit number 5, chronic anxiety. The fifth destructive pattern is persistent worry. This one proves subtle because it doesn't present as a medical condition. It appears to be a personality characteristic. But constant low-grade anxiety maintains elevated stress hormones in ways that damage every biological system in your body. I treated patients who were retired, financially comfortable, surrounded by loving family members, and still spent hours daily worrying about circumstances beyond their control. Their bodies aged faster. Their sleep quality was worse. Their immune systems were compromised. Learning to release what you cannot control isn't just sound psychology, it's biological survival. A personal loss. I want to share something about my wife. She passed away 8 years ago. We shared 61 years of marriage. She refused to follow any of this guidance. She sat constantly because her knees caused pain. She slept poorly and declined to address it. She ate according to her mother's teachings, bread, sweets, and low-fat everything. She worried about our children and grandchildren every single day. She died at 94. You might consider 94 a respectable age. But I watched her decline for 15 years preceding her death. I witnessed her lose her mobility, her mental sharpness, her independence. Those final years weren't a blessing. They were a gradual diminishment. She could have experienced another decade of genuine vitality. She chose not to change. My choice. I'm 102 years old. I live independently. I prepare my own meals. I walk daily. I read. I maintain contact with my grandchildren. I sleep 7.5 hours every night. I'm not genetically exceptional. I'm not extraordinarily fortunate. I made deliberate choices. You're making choices right now, today, this very hour. And I'm telling you from 53 years of observing human mortality that those choices carry more weight than you want to acknowledge. You don't need to transform everything simultaneously. Select one thing: the excessive sitting, the sleep neglect, the social isolation, the dietary carelessness, or the chronic worry. Correct one behavior, and the others become more manageable. I've buried 2 of my 3 children. I've buried my wife. I've buried 4,000 patients. I remain here, and I'm telling you that most of the people I buried didn't need to depart when they did. You're still here as well. What are you going to do about it?